This episode is brought to you by Patron. Have you ever been curious about the advice we give you at the end of every episode? Now you don't have to be curious anymore. Join Alex and I to dive deeper into those topics and much, much more. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/WMAKP. See you guys there. All right, and welcome back to episode 3 of WMAK podcast. I don't know, should I call it WMAKP? Because our logo says WMAK.
I mean, WMAKP sounds better.
Right?
But
I don't know. I have to think about that one. Anyways, welcome back to another episode. If this audio sounds funny, let us know by tweeting us on Twitter at WMAKPod. Yeah, I think that's what I put down. It's something like that. Yeah, it should be that. Because we couldn't add the T in podcast. We had too many characters, so we couldn't add the T, which just really sucked. So yeah, at WMAKPod. That is our tag, so just tweet us at that, follow us. If you have any questions, let us know. That's where we're going to communicate the most. So today's episode is going to be about our assistants. Specifically Team Storm, and then Storm stands for Special Team of Role Models. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Pretty much the premise is pretty much why they're there for, and the benefits that we get, the benefits the kids get. So I mean, we both technically started on Team Storm.
I think that's where everybody starts.
Right.
I mean, anybody that's in our dojo and an instructor in the world of martial arts is started on Team Storm, started off learning in there, started off with other people around them, learning to do the exact same thing. So
I mean, it's sort of weird because you have a bunch of assistants that don't know what they're doing in your class. That's the hard part about having Team Storm, because they're there to learn. That's pretty much their main focus is, do they want to continue to sort of learn to teach? Do they want to continue that path of becoming an instructor? We also are creating an instructors program, which helps to make instructors. But that's a totally different story that we will get to in another time. But Team Storm, I mean, what benefits did you find as being a Team Storm member when you were young?
Especially like when you're going for your black belt. It's one of the best ways to go over old material, stuff like that. You get to help out other people, but you're also helping yourself. It's a very selfless way, I guess, of putting it, of learning old material, helping others. And that's kind of what I used it for at first. I mean, once you start getting into it and start realizing, oh, this is a lot more fun than,
What rank did you start at? What rank?
I was a brown belt, or brown belt. Brown belt, a few stripes, maybe 2 or 3, I think. So I did it a little bit early, for back when I was younger. Now we have a lot lower rank of Team Storm members, which is great. But the lowest they usually let on was like brown belt,
green belt. No,
was
brown.
That for you?
Well, remember, I was the guinea pig when it came to all of this, because, I mean, I mean, for me, because I technically started helping out in the dojo when I was like 12 per se, 12, 11, somewhere around there. We didn't have a Team Storm back then, so it was just whoever was sort of helping at the time. And then from there, it was, then we started implementing Team Storm when we're trying to get more assistants.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I pretty much went through the whole journey of going Team Storm, changing the gi tops, doing this. So I guess we should probably more so start with, what Team Storm is, I guess, in a sense. Let's sort of start with that.
When you walk into the dojo, there's going to be kids in there in their white gi tops. There's going to be instructors, which usually look like adults.
Our black belts.
Black belts, yeah. Also in white gi tops. And then there's going to be students in the blue gi top. That's where it's going to get confusing. You're going to be like, what are these kids doing here? Why is there kids in different colored gi tops? those are our Team Storm members. Those are the kids there to help us out during class, to help the kids out before class and stuff like that. It's kind of a shock when you first walk in, because you're gonna assume, oh, everybody's kind of dressed the same, and there's only gonna be an instructor and students. You don't think there's gonna be assistants or anything like that. So you're trying to figure out, what do these blue gi tops mean, as you're sitting there as a parent, at least. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much nailing everything that we need to. But yeah, so we got blue gi tops. They're not necessarily always going to be a black belt. Some are black belts, some are brown belts, some are green belts. I mean, the lowest we have is a purple belt, but he's 15, so it's not necessarily he's too young. But for us, back then we just sort of let anybody that wanted to participate in Team Storm, we let them participate because we didn't know any better. So we pretty much just, like, okay, yeah, if you want to help, that's fine. Because we're always looking for people to want to teach karate, seeing if we can get satellite schools, stuff like that. Just thinking of the bigger picture at that time. And then as time went on, we decided to start handpicking people that were sort of meant for the position. Someone that was was technically, I mean, being selfless is really hard. Oh, yeah. It's really hard, but being selfless, maybe, someone that's not there to boss kids around. Because if you want to be there to boss kids around, then you're not there for the right reason. And then, I mean, there's a whole bunch of other factors, but those are the two that really come into mind.
I mean, another big one, which I was always mentioned towards, was leadership qualities. The kids that have leadership qualities, they can be in front of a class, and we have kids count in class, right? Like, we'll do punches and kicks and stuff like that, and sometimes the students will count, and the kids that are more comfortable in that situation want to do that, want to be a leader in that situation. Those are kids that usually excel at something like Team Storm, or maybe even way off in the future, the instructors program, right? So like John was saying, that's really what we're looking for in like a Team Storm member. So.
And then, so pretty much that aspect of someone who wants to go up and try to teach in the future, someone that is willing to try. And then for a lot of them, it's a good opportunity, like Alex mentioned earlier, was to relearn a lot of things, because there's a lot of things to learn in our program before you can make it to a black belt. Whether it's you have to learn some jiu-jitsu, you have to have this X amount of training days, you have to attend this, you have to learn, it's extensive. That's the word, extensive. But yeah, so that opportunity really helps. But at the same time, Team Storm isn't necessarily there to fully, never mind. I take that back. They're there to help your child, but at the same time, they're learning as well. So there has to be that sort of
there's a give and a
balance.
take for Team Storm. There's a give and a take. You're given the time for your kid to get extra help and stuff like that, but what the Team Storm member is taking from that is new material, how to teach, right? The Team Storm member your kid might get placed with might not be the one that's been there the longest. It might be a new one. More recently, we had a new Team Storm member join, and I kind of pushed him towards the deep end a little bit, had him partner up with a student just to see how they would do.
Right.
Their first class helping, and sometimes that happens.
That's right. I forgot to mention, there's this also other part is you're willing to learn and adapt. That's the biggest part of Team Storm too. I mean, because as instructors, having Team Storm there is really nice, because we could actually break down the whole class and assign a couple of students to each Team Storm member, and then those kids will get more closer one-on-one time. Because if you just teach through the whole class, you're not gonna get to everybody. Whether there's 5, whether there's 4, whether there's 10, you're not gonna get to everybody. But having Team Storm sort of allows you to break down the class and then sort of be able to watch how the Team Storm reacts, how the kids react to the Team Storm. And then you're allowed to sort of see how the Team Storm member is sort of teaching that. And then we can go back to the drawing board and see, okay, there's this that we really need to improve on as a whole Team Storm team. Whole Team Storm group, Whole Team Storm
as a collective.
Collective, okay. I hadn't think of that one before, but yeah. So I mean, but there's a whole bunch of things right there. But let's sort of collect our thoughts here real quick, because we're jumping everywhere with this right now. We are really jumping everywhere.
Yeah.
But let's start with this. What are the drawbacks of Team Storm? Let's start with that. Drawbacks, the positives, and sort of the mutual beneficial.
So some of the drawbacks, as a student, is where I'm going to go from. As a student, a drawback of Team Storm was you might not get the help you need. You could get a Team Storm member that's new, like I was saying. They don't know exactly how to teach yet. They don't exactly know how to understand how to quite interact with those kids yet. But it's kind of a weird situation, I guess. Not situation is to describe it. But sometimes you might get somebody that just doesn't quite teach your style of teaching, and that's just kind of what happens with a Team Storm member. That I know that happened to me when I was a younger student. I was a spaz when I was younger.
Wait. Go back to that again. You were saying that it doesn't quite fit your learning style.
Learning style.
Learning style. Okay.
I said teaching.
Learning style. Yeah,
I'm going
sense.
from the perspective of the student. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Doesn't quite fit your learning style, which is okay. I had that problem when I was younger. I was a spaz. Right. Like I was saying.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And not every Team Storm member could teach to that. So there was certain people I would go with where they would teach me at that faster pace.
Someone that was able to be patient with you, right?
Yep.
Not necessarily controlling, but patient.
They were patient and they could move at a faster pace.
Right.
Because each Team Storm member, they teach in a different way. Some are going to teach very linear, which linear means they teach this, and this. But say we teach them to teach a kata, they teach it this way.
Right.
And then there's people that kind of go with the flow. Those that, all right, this isn't working, so we're going to try this now. And that doesn't work, we're going to bounce over here. It's just kind of a toss-up, which you're going to get with Team Storm member, which is okay.
Yeah, no. And another drawback of having team, please don't get us wrong. We love having Team Storm because it helps so much. It helps a lot. Whether they're new or not, we always have people learning, then we have people helping each other out in Team Storm. So these drawbacks aren't bad. We're just pointing out for future instructors that are wanting instructors. These are sort of the drawbacks you're going to get with it. And then one more thing that I always like to point out is especially when you get new Team Storm members, they end up standing in a corner. They always seem to stand in a corner. And it's really weird because as an instructor, you can't just say, hey, come out here because you're focusing on the whole class. So when you have a couple of new Team Storm members, they end up just standing in a corner.
They kind of
it's
just
really
hang
weird.
around.
Don't get me wrong. I did the same thing too. We all did the same thing.
Yep.
But it's just like, wait, how does standing in a corner help your situation? The really weird, because it's really awkward when you're first entering Team Storm because you have no idea what the heck you're doing. You're so confused. But this is really weird when you stand in a corner. When I stood in the corner, it's because I actually had friends in Team Storm. That's why I stood in the corner, so we could talk. Yeah, so that's the other drawback, is that you really have to take them by the hand, and it takes a lot of time. You have to actually do it during class. You have to talk to them during class, before class, after class, so they actually learn. Let's go one more each drawbacks if you can think of something.
That was my next drawback.
Oh, was that your next one?
I was going to say, it's not easy to be the one walking around fixing mistakes and stuff like that. Normally you wouldn't feel comfortable doing that if you haven't done that for a very long time. I've done this for I don't know how long now.
Teaching, like Team Storm wise, I think, because he took a year off because he renewed. Probably a good 4 years, 5 years.
More than that.
More?
It's more than that.
Wait,
because I've been a black belt longer than I've been.
Okay. Is it 6 or 7 then?
Probably 6 or 7 years now.
Because Team Storm wise, how many years did you spend on Team Storm?
I've been an instructor for at least 3 years.
Okay.
And then I've been leading our Team Storm, and then I was just gonna add on to that. Okay. 7, 8 years then. Okay. Maybe 9 almost.
Almost 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I flew up the ranks too.
You were fast paced. Yeah, back then.
So So 8-9 years maybe.
So 8-9 years
Yeah.
for you, because I mean,
And none of those skills I have now came overnight.
of course
I was
not. Those
terrible when I first started.
Yeah, no,
I was really, really bad at it.
I mean, oh my God, just thinking of that, how bad I was back then. It's just, I wouldn't say cringy, but it was the right path because I was learning. I wasn't like learning in a stressful environment, but it was just challenging and stressful enough where it made you memorize and learn and make sure you watch, and then take it from there. Because I remember, because I started my first class when I turned 17, when I took over a couple of classes from someone else. 17, 18, 19, I just sort of took my own. Man, that was stressful. Because you wanted every kid to succeed, but not every kid will. That's the worst part. Anyways, this is a whole... Anyways, no, we could go on. We could go on forever about that topic for sure. Okay, one more drawback for Team Storm is... oh, crap, I lost my train of thought. What was it? Oh, man. There's plenty out there, but there's a specific one that I wanted to say. Make sure you handpick your Team Storm members if you have enough students.
At first, yes.
Because if you end up getting those Team Storm members that just want to be the boss and want to boss kids around, it is not a good idea to have them there. Because that just ruins the whole vibe of the class. It ruins just your own philosophy of the class. So try to handpick your assistants, your Team Storm members, because it is scary when things go downhill with that member.
Yep. You can lose you can lose students if
and
that
you
happens,
always have to remember this is a business as well. If you're just doing this as a hobby, then there's really no reason to have Team Storm members. You could just do it on your own with 20 kids. But no matter how much you say martial arts isn't a business, if you want to make money, it is a business. You have to have a good balance on it. I mean, that's what I have to say for that. I mean, those are the main drawbacks so far. Do you have... Okay, so let's go positives. Two positives each. Two.
Okay. Biggest positive. We get instructors, you get support during the class. Having that support where you can split up the kids into groups, splitting them into smaller like groups of 3, and having each kid get more one-on-one time with somebody, that is one of the biggest plus sides to a Team Storm.
So nice.
That's why we love having Team Storm members. That's why we need Team Storm members. Being able to give every single one of those kids that one-on-one attention they deserve.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Because if you have 10 kids and you're teaching by yourself, I mean, you can do it. You can do it. You can teach them. You can give them one-on-one time, but that one-on-one time is going to drop down from 5 minutes to like 1 minute. So, I mean, don't get us wrong. You can teach a full class by yourself, 10 kids, 15 kids by yourself. But that time where you have to... Because when you have 15 kids in one class, there's going to be huge rank separation. There might be a white belt, then there might be a blue belt, and there might be like no yellow belts. White belts can't learn blue belt things or gold belt things. I mean, if you have those ranks. I mean, of course, ranks are different everywhere. But before you get anywhere, because our rank system goes white, yellow, gold, orange, blue, purple, green, brown, then black. Wow, I actually said that in one breath. I'm good. And then depending on their age, between white and gold, they get either 4 or 6 stripes to get to the next rank.
Yep.
And then it goes orange, blue, purple, green. Those get no stripes. And then from green belt to brown belt, you need 4 stripes before you can go to brown belt. Then brown belt to brown belt, 4 stripes, and then you can test for your black belt. And then for our junior black belts, for anybody under the age of 16, gets the white stripe through their black belt. And then if you go to our Gashuku, which is a training camp for our Jundokan training, you can get, and by the time you're 18, or technically depending on how mature you are and how you train, at 16 you get a full-fledged black belt as an adult black belt.
Yes.
So anyways, that's our ranking system. Just want to point that out before we get any more confusion in our ranking. Okay, so positives. It's my turn, right?
Yeah.
My turn. crap. You said literally that was the best positive to have. Oh, the next positive thing is the fact that you can see and help more instructors grow, because as you're an instructor, especially if you're an older instructor, your body probably won't move the same as it did when you were 20. I mean, I'm younger.
I'm
but,
19 and my knee doesn't move how it used to.
my knees don't either, and my back doesn't either. So I mean, but there's a lot of things there. But having those instructors, and if they are decent or really good assistants, they will go up there and perform them and inspire the rest of the kids. That's the biggest thing. That's the other positive.
I mean, it's like we talked about in episode 1, I think, right? 1. Be a show off.
Oh yeah, be a show off. Thank you.
Show
Yeah,
off, right?
1 or 2.
And
I don't remember which one.
Yeah, and the same thing goes for. I think we talked about them both, but the same thing goes for a Team Storm member. If the Team Storm member, we have them always up front, punching and kicking with the kids.
Yep.
We want them to be show offs. We want the parents to see. Oh, I want my kid to look like that when they get to that rank. You know.
Yeah.
My next benefit for Team Storm members is, like I said earlier, learning all the material, but they get to learn if they like this instruction, if they like teaching. Where I'm at now, I'm going to college to be a teacher, a school teacher. I don't think I would have ever figured that out if I wasn't on Team Storm.
What would you do if you were still taking engineering?
I would. I don't know. I don't know. I thought almost all my life I wanted to be an electrical engineer. I enjoy math. I enjoy all of that sort of stuff. I took all the engineering classes in high school and enjoyed it. But once I got to college, I started realizing, oh, I've taught for longer than I've cared about engineering. Why am I doing this? So I came back down to U of I, and I'm now going to school for teaching. And it gives kids a chance to see what they really do enjoy. Like, if they really do enjoy teaching, they can say, oh, this is what I want to do for my future, as I did.
So to add on to that, they're gaining real life skills.
Yes.
I think the best way to put it.
Yes.
Because in real life, if you want to stand out, if you have some kind of future job, if you want to stand out, you have to be different. That's what they all say, and it's very true. And you have to be a leader. Mm-hmm. Those are the two biggest things. And then being in front of people, you start developing those communication skills. You start developing that being comfortable being uncomfortable. That was our motto this last week in training. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. I should make a shirt. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, because I mean it's so true. Because being in front of those kids,
it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. It's scary sometimes, because especially the parents and the kids, they are judging you. Every single second you are talking, you are showing, you are moving. They are always judging.
And as a parent, you may not even think that you're judging the instructor, judging the Team Storm members. But you, by coming back the next week, that's how you're judging us. If we did a terrible job that week, or like that entire month, we just didn't care that month, I don't think most parents would come back after that first month. You know, it's like John always says, it's a business. You're running a business, and having all of this just improves the quality of the business.
Yeah. And then I called it mutually beneficial, but there's probably a better word for it. But it's something that has to be done in order to create, technically, I don't want to say a better dojo, but I think maybe a better environment by having those Team Storm members. I think by having the kids having the one-on-one time, having Team Storm be able to learn real life skills, and having instructors gaining help as well, and then us helping them in return, I think all in all is just very mutually beneficial for everybody.
Yes.
Of course, your child might not get the best help from the Team Storm members because they are learning as well, but allowing Team Storm members to help your child allows the Team Storm member to be even better. So
come back next week and be a better instructor and better teacher. Yeah.
Now, this is the part for business people, for other instructors that are wanting to create Team Storm. Having meetings is very, very important.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, we go to, especially
once a month.
No,
once a month at least.
At least once a month, but for us, we attend 3-4 meetings a month. I attend at least 4 meetings a month.
I think I'm up to 2 or 3 now. 2 or 3 probably. I mean, I wouldn't even say meetings. after class, after every single
That's
time,
very important
you
too.
talk to the Team Storm members, ask if they have any questions, any concerns.
And not just asking them, but pointing out things they need to work on. Because this is what usually tends to happen. Hey, do you have any kind of questions, concerns, or anything that you were curious about?
No.
Yeah, they'll always say no. Most, probably 90% of the time, they will say no. So you just have to point things out that they need to work on. Because kids, do they actually have real questions? Yes. But are they scared to answer question
To ask those
to
questions?
ask those questions? Then they probably are. I mean, it's just one of those things where you have to be the person that helps them grow. Because are they going to realize what they did wrong during class? No, because they're just starting Team Storm. They have no idea what they're doing. So those meetings, and then having those themes during those meetings are really, really important. So you can be able to break down each sort of teaching style, what they need, what as a whole collective they need to work on, things like that. So here we go again. I always like doing this at the end, but we're going to, because it's only about Team Storm this time, 2 pieces of advice each for future instructors or even parents that are looking at Team Storm. Okay.
Go talk to those Team Storm members. They are there to help you. Our Team Storm members, we're all pretty shy. They're all a little bit shy.
They're pretty shy. Yeah.
But if you come up to the desk to talk to me or Sensei John or Sensei Brian, whoever's there, we will have a Team Storm go with you, or we'll go with you and have your student practice whatever you would like them to practice. But if you approach those Team Storm members, that just shows us we're doing such a better job at pushing those Team Storm members into that environment of being uncomfortable, being comfortable. Because not a lot of people like being approached and say, "Hey, can you help my child with this?" I know I didn't when I was a Team Storm member. I never wanted to be approached by the parents because that's all the pressure on me now. But if you're approaching those Team Storm members, we know we're doing a good job at teaching those Team Storm members how to be good leaders, how to teach with the skills that we've shown them, that we've learned and passed down to them, that those skills really do work.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So my piece of advice is have your Team Storm members talk to parents.
Yes.
Because having interpersonal skills as an instructor is really, really important. And as an instructor that are very uncomfortable talking to those parents, then I recommend talking to more parents. Because as a head instructor or a chief instructor or one of the top instructors, you have to be comfortable as that as well. You have to have charisma. You have to have some kind of personality. You have to be able to talk with parents. And then by building future instructors, they also have to have interpersonal skill to go talk to those parents comfortably with charisma. So have your Team Storm members go talk to kids, other students, and other parents as well. Number 2.
I'm going to add on.
Oh, you're going to add on. Okay.
Don't make sure it's not...
this doesn't count, by the way.
I know.
Okay.
Just make sure it's also not the, "Oh, hi, how's it going? Good, how are you?"
Yes.
Make sure they're having good conversations.
Maybe something like, "Hey, do you know what your kid needs to work on?" Or, "Did your kid have a bad day today? How is your kid doing today?" Or, "How are you doing?" Like, "How are you doing today?" is very important for the parents because the parents want to talk to someone as well. Just saying. I mean, parents out there that are listening to this, I don't know, but I know if I was a parent there, I would like to talk to people as well and get used to that community in there, be part of the community.
I think a Team Storm member going up and talking like that, I know I feel comfortable talking to all the parents. Yep. It just makes the parents feel more included.
Definitely.
It's very hard. I feel like sometimes it's hard for parents to feel like they're included in something like this because it's considered activity for your child. But that's not what it is here. It's a family. It's a community. We want everybody to enjoy their time spent here, all the time spent together. That's why we do all the events and stuff like that, where parents are always invited and they can chat along with everybody. And, I think that's just very important for the parents. Yeah. Definitely. And I think it's good for them too. Yeah. My second one, check in with your Team Storm members. Like, doesn't matter during class, after class, before class. I think checking in during class is the most important. If they're working one-on-one with a student and you're as an instructor, you don't have any kids with you right now. You're able to wander around to each group, go check in with the Team Storm members, see if they have any questions, any concerns, or anything like that.
I wouldn't do that during class.
I see. I do it a few times. I go say, "Hey, how's it going over here? You guys have any questions?" Just that real quick. And if they're doing good, yeah. And he says, "Oh,
Okay,
I've had kids say like, oh wait, we have a question on our Geki on the Geki side Bunkai or something
No,
like
that's
that."
smart. That's smart,
Because
actually.
I don't want the Team Storm member to freeze, be like, "Oh crap, what is this?" and then have to go find me.
True.
I feel like that's not really. I mean, it puts
Okay,
them in
so
a
that
situation
sort of
uncomfortably.
That sort of checking.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Not like that, but I mean, after class, of course,
Right.
checking in, like how we were talking about earlier, having the little group meeting afterward where we're talking to each other, pointing out things and stuff like that. I think that's pretty important. And then before class, if I always talk to the Team Storm members, all right, I'm going to put you with this kid today.
Yep.
If there's like a kid that I want to go to formal testing or something like that, or test next week, and they're not quite ready for it, I'm going to have a Team Storm member go with them and practice.
Definitely.
And giving that Team Storm member the guidance, kind of like, all right, this is what I want them to practice, this, and this, and giving them that instead of just saying, oh, I want you to get ready for this kid to test, because that's very broad
and vague. It's tougher for the Team Storm members for sure.
And I just think checking in. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, because it's a bunch of different skills.
Yeah.
At each point in time, before, during, or after class.
But you have to be used to confronting your Team Storm members. You can't be. I don't want to say you can't. You have to be mean with them, but you have to be direct with what you need from them, or else they just won't learn what you need from them.
Yes.
Because they're probably younger. They really, like, I always go back, they have no idea what they're doing. They're still learning.
Yep.
So, okay, my last advice is make sure you tell your class and the parents that are there why you have Team Storm there. Whether they're new, whether they're older, they're here to learn maybe, and make sure you introduce them so everybody else is comfortable with the Team Storm members.
Give your Team Storm members a name to the kids.
Yes, and then make sure, and then it's just more comfortable that way for the Team Storm members and for the students why, how they're going to interact with each other. That's really important because you really want them to interact. Anyways, we're over on this session.
I figured with this one that we might. Cause I think it's just a huge part of a dojo to make it feel more comfortable for kids to actually be able to learn. I mean, I've been here for 14 years. We've had a team, at least a semblance of a Team Storm program every year.
You've always had a Team Storm.
Yeah.
You've always, ever since you started, you've always had a team. Me, on the other hand, I didn't.
I mean, there's a difference in the quality of students and stuff like that sometimes.
I think so.
I think it's definitely. We always talk about the ratio of kids that make it to black belt. I feel like that's slowly increasing because of our Team Storm members. I don't know how much.
I don't know. I would have to check all the stats on that.
That'd be interesting to see a before and after.
Yeah, because I mean, Team Storm. I mean, we've had Team Storm even before you started.
I think it was yeah.
Because I would have to look at that's an interesting idea.
Because I feel like. That would be an important
the only problem
to have,
the only problem about that experiment is because the dojo didn't have such a bigger name back then either. Of course, so I mean, we would have to do the math of student to year or student something like. Anyways,
you'd have to do a ratio.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah. That's so much paperwork to look through. I don't want to do that.
I mean, it's just the quality of the black belts too has gone.
I think in some cases, but consistent training always is part of it.
Yeah, of course.
But anyways, all right, that's it. We have to cut this one out. Right, we have to stop here. But, thank you for joining us again for another episode on WMAKP. If you have any questions, anything you really want us to answer on the next podcast, follow us on Twitter at WMAKPod. That's your Twitter handle. Go check us out on there. I'm thinking of making a Facebook, but I'm never on Facebook personally.
Instagram would be better.
Maybe Instagram. Maybe get some direct messages, some DMs on Instagram. Who knows? But yeah. So we'll let you know in the next episode or on Twitter. So follow us on Twitter. All right. Thanks for watching or listening. I guess on this time. Thanks for listening. See you guys in the next one.